first you will need 1 tablespoon of yeast, 4 tablespoons of sugar. In this case I use brown sugar, a cup of oat milk, an egg replacer, and I think what the Chinese called tangzhong, and I could show you in another video how to make that. This is about half a cup of tangzhong that I cook down like a roux until it gets to this consistency, and 2.5 cups of flour. This flour, if you want the same flour as I have, it's from King Arthur. And this is the egg replacer that I use from Bob's Red Mill. Use 1 of the egg replacer. Read the instructions on the back of how to get 1 egg out of this egg replacer powder. And you would also need 4 tablespoons of vegan butter. Now let's combine the dry ingredients first. So into our 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour, I'm going to add the brown sugar. And since the butter is already salted, I'm not going to add any tablespoon of salt. You could do that if you are using unsalted vegan butter. So whisk your dry ingredients together like so. Until it's fully well combined. And then we can move on to our wet ingredients. So, okay, so we got a bowl and we're gonna add the oat milk. You could use whatever vegan milk. I choose oat milk just because it's creamier for me. So, oat milk and the, ooh, look at that yeast that's developed in 15 minutes. So all of that foamy developed activated yeast goes in there, and also the tangzhong, I'm probably saying that all wrong. Yeah, that goes in there too. Okay, so I melt the butter, adding the butter in. That's about 4 tablespoons of butter. Okay, I am gonna switch up and use a spatula to mix this because I like stirring with the spatula. And also for this particular recipe, since we're not using a stand mixer, you could use a spatula to mix it. I like using a spatula because I could like fold it with a spatula and mix it a little bit better. So mix all your wet ingredients until it's well combined and that the tangzhong and the egg replacer is fully incorporated, even though it's like a bit like a pasty consistency. So we got to get that into like fully incorporated into the liquid. And then we're going to go and mix. Now it's time to combine the wet ingredients. Using this spatula, I am going to fold it. This is what I like. That's why I like using the spatula, because I could do like a fold method of combining the dry and the wet. The bottom and just like do this like folding method. And I do this until it's pretty mixed before I go in with my clean hands and start kind of like doing like a light additional squeeze, kneading mixture, and then forming it into a perfect round little ball into the bowl. It's like a Play-Doh mix. I think I need like a better video editing person. Whoops, off camera. No. See how it's starting to come together? And that's the method I'm using right here. I'm like literally just like folding it like that. And right when I put in like the wet mixture, I actually take the spatula from the bottom and start folding the flour on top of like the wet mixture that I poured into the center. And there it is. But if you have a stand mixer, just mix it all into the stand mixer and it will be done. Because I barely bake, I have not invested in a stand mixer, but I figured you guys might want my vegan milk, Japanese vegan milk bread recipe. So that's a good consistency before you get your clean hand into there and start kind of kneading it. Okay, the dough will be sticky, so you can kind of like knead it a little bit and wash your hand afterwards. It will be sticky like this, so I like knead it a little bit. Funny thing is, my weird method is to like squeeze it like that and then mix everything together. Okay, so once you squeezed everything together, you can then start doing this. This is what I like doing, like you lift it up and then you kind of fold it. Lift and fold, lift and fold. It's a very sticky dough. You can prevent the stick by oiling your hands after you wash it. When you start getting into this part where you're lifting and sticking. I didn't do that because I don't care about this sticking to my hand, and I could just scrape the excess back into the bowl. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap it with saran wrap, because when this thing rises, it wants to like flood over the edges, and I realized saran wrap keeps everything inside, but you have to like wrap it like a certain kind of way. So let me show you. So you put the wrapper over there, and then you just like let it stick to the side of your bowl, your mixing bowl. Cut the side of the saran wrap. Wrap the other side tightly around the bowl, and the sides that the bowl is the shortest, you kind of pull it all taut and wrap it over the edge like that. So, and this little edge that sticks out like this, make sure you pull it all in so that when it rises, it doesn't like spill over the edge of your bowl. So let it rise for an hour, and then we're gonna go ahead and do the lift and fold kneading again. It should double in size. And this is what happens. I think I had to like, you see how it floated? I had to like pop it all and put it in the center after it rises. So we're gonna do like another fold and knead method. So check out that dough. And after the first rise, it does not get as sticky. after the first rise. This Japanese vegan milk dough does not get as sticky. I mean, it's still sticky, but it doesn't get as sticky. And the reason Japanese milk dough, you know, from what it said, doesn't get dried out as much is because of the tangzhong, which is like the roux that we made. Well, I'm going to show you how to make that in another video. It's really easy. It's just like a thick water to flour ratio to create like a roux. Okay, and after a good folding, we're gonna let this rest for another hour. Let that rest for another hour before we shape it and bake it. Okay, now time for the shaping. So I put the dough on a floured board and I'm gonna kind of like break it into like 3-4 halves. So you could see, still sticky. Again, if you're having like sticky dough, just like use a lot of powder on the dough. Like, see how I powdered this board? That's to prevent the dough from sticking. You could do it to your hands. You could add a little bit more powder on the dough so that the surface of the dough is not sticking to you. Okay, and then I just break it apart again into, alright, now after 15 minutes, those balls would rise. Go ahead and deflate them. Those 4 balls, I moved the other 2 balls out of the way. Deflate them. Deflate. Add some, what do you call that? Flour, so it doesn't stick. I'm gonna roll it out so we could shape it into a nice flat. So let's like roll that one out first. I'm gonna move this one out of the way. And roll this one into like this elongated bread shape. Move that to like the side. My nails are so jacked up, so ignore them in the video. Get my nail done. We try to get it like to the same length. I'm not trying to make it like all perfect because I'm not like a professional here. And then I put it right on top of each other. Oh my god. Damn. Normally I measure, I equal parts it, but in this case I'm not doing that. I'm just trying to like roll it out. I'm just rolling it, rolling it, rolling it, like so. And then the grease pan. Transfer this over to the grease pan. I'm gonna let it continue to rise. Now the other part of the dough, we're gonna do the same thing to that other dough. Boom. I think I'm gonna get so much hate from like professional bakers. They're like, what are you doing? So I came up with my own recipe, so if you're a professional baker, do not come after me for my methods. It's easy and realistic for like the average everyday person that didn't go to school for baking. Or culinary school or whatever. Does culinary school also include baking classes? That's something different. And then just scrunch it up, roll it up, roll it, roll it, roll it, roll it, roll it, roll it, roll it up, and that's how you shape your milk dough bread, and then you put it back in that greased pan. So there's literally like 2 loaves of bread. God, this one's trying to like rise on me right now. Don't rise on me yet. Okay, so we got 2 loaves of bread in there. That's gonna expand out and rise, and then we're gonna start baking it. Let me go ahead and cover this with saran while it rises. Okay, so after 30 minutes, it's proofed to the size. That means it is ready to be baked. I like to bake it at 350 for 20 minutes, depending on the oven. I don't want to bake it till, you know, it's like burnt. Just a nice golden brown. And into the oven it goes for 350. I will now close the oven. And I will be watching the bread rise from the outside as it's baking. So give this at least 20 minutes. I like to not keep it in that long, so excuse my cat. So come in at least 10 minutes to see how the baking's going. It's almost done, but look how it's like risen. And like that, your bread is done. It should be kind of crusty on the outside and very soft and textury, gooey, chewy in the inside.